Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we got a couple of Mini 14s we're going to be taking a look at. We got two different variations here. We're going to be talking about the design, a little bit of the history, not too deep into it, but a couple of major years, some of the changes that happened throughout the 70s and 80s with these guns. Then we'll be doing some shooting. You'll get some good shots of these guys. And then we might talk a little more about them. But to start out, yeah, so the Ruger Mini 14 in around 1967, I believe Bill Ruger and Jim Sullivan got together and they wanted to scale down and make an improvised version of the military M14 rifle. So it took about 6 years before they got their design to what we see here. But in 1973, the design process stopped. 1974, they began production on the Mini 14s. They looked mostly similar to this one right here. This is a 1982 model. This one is a little later at 88. So there's some changes between these guys that we'll talk about. This is a true Mini 14. This one is the Ruger Ranch rifle. We'll talk about the differences there. And this pretty closely resembles the end product when they started production in the mid 70s. A couple of differences would be later on in the 80s, starting in 82, they put integral scope mounts on there. You could have got the rings made by Ruger with your purchase of the Mini 14. This one, interesting, has a scope, but did not come with a place to put it. And we'll talk about this mount right here. This is manufactured by S&K. I believe you can still purchase these if you have a Mini 14 earlier than this one, before 82, that didn't have a place to put scope rings. You can still buy these from this company, I believe, last time I checked. And it's pretty simple how it works, but so that's one difference between these two guys right here. Optional 5-round, 15-round, 20-round magazines that you could get with these. They do look quite similar to the M14 and also the M1. Gas system was changed. It's not really all that similar. This has a very simplified gas system that mounts right here, 4 bolts on the barrel. This is a cast receiver. So part of Bill Ruger's claim to fame was making, I guess you could say, a working man's rifle. So it was a little cheaper, not as polished around the edges, but still a high quality firearm that you could buy that the common man could afford. It wasn't a military rifle. It wasn't extremely sharp or well built, but it was a good rifle. They took a lot of cost saving measures when they were basing the design off the M14. But it ended up with a really nice product. So this is an example of a fixed wood stock. It's actually really nice. It's a beautiful stock. This one has a folding stock, which became really popular in the 80s with the A-Team. You can still buy these stocks. Samson manufactures these still today. They are a little pricey if you want to upgrade your Mini 14, but it's a really cool stock. It's a high quality product. So that's what it looks like folded. Then unfold, it's just one notch right here, lever that you pull down, and you're ready to go. Mini 14s were always available in blue and stainless, and then with the matching A-Team folding stock, that can also be blued or stainless. This one has an older Redfield tracker scope fixed. I think it's a 4-5 power, something like that, but it's fixed. I don't know how old it is, but I'm guessing probably from the 80s as well, just based on how it looks. So from 1974 until 1982, you had the original Ruger Mini 14. There were several variations through that time period with these. There was a Ruger Mini 14 GB, which standed for government barrel. It was a little sportier. I think it had a bayonet lug on the front. They upgraded a couple of the features. It looked a little sharper. Now in 1982, they moved to the ranch rifle, like we talked about earlier. They had the scope mount. That might have been all for that one, but they changed the name, and they're still manufactured today as the ranch rifle. So if you go buy one of these new, the ranch rifle is the base version of all the Mini 14s produced today. A couple of the other variations was the Mini 30, chambered in 7.62 by 39. It was pretty popular. You might remember in 1986, the Miami-Dade shootout with the bank robbers and the FBI agents. They were using Mini 14s. After that happened, there was a change in, I guess you could say, police tactics, or kind of what they carried, some of what they did. Up until that point, a lot of them didn't carry assault style rifles or semi-automatic rifles. You still had a lot of the shotguns, double action revolvers, and that was one of the turning points that really changed what the policemen carried in their vehicles. So a lot of them actually started carrying AR-15s and Mini 14s. Up until that point, SWAT did carry Mini 14s, different versions. These have been used throughout the world. Different militaries have picked them up and used them, militia groups, things of that sort. But they really are an icon of the 70s and 80s. A lot of people like the way they look based on the older rifles of that time. Now we're going to take some shots with this one. Ready to reload. All right, as we can see, the Mini 14 is a really fun gun to shoot. They're not known for incredible accuracy, but up to 150 yards, I'd say, if you take care of them and use good ammunition, you know, you can hit anything up to 100 to 150 yards, especially if you get a scope. You know, put a decent scope on one. They're pretty reliable. So that pretty much wraps it up. If you have an opportunity to get one of these out there, if you find a deal, I'd highly recommend it. A lot of people have picked them up over the years. You don't see them a whole lot in really nice condition like this one anymore, but if you do happen to see one, definitely get it if you can get a deal on it, and I think you'll enjoy it and get many good years of use from it. So we appreciate you watching, and come back for another one sometime. What was it, Jeremy? 7.62 by 49? 39, yeah. Cut that out. To cut that. Now we're gonna take some shots with this one. No, we ain't.
What happened?
I didn't load it. Pretty good shooting, Bill. You can throw one in the truck and haul it around the farm and kill stuff, I guess.